Well, I think, from our own mindset, obviously, you're going to reset regardless after the regular season. You're going to play whoever you're going to play. And so I don't know how it would have been much different other than the fact that you obviously feel better about how you played. This team has not had very many halves or games where it hasn't played with great purpose and great intensity. And we were coming off of about 5 straight quarters of it. So it was good to see at least a version of ourselves again. I don't know that it'd be likely that you would ever erase a 24-point lead, no matter how hard you're playing, no matter how well you're playing. But hopefully we can build off of it. This game and this series is a brand new entity, so I think it all resets itself anyways. Yeah, I think one of the things about Atlanta, obviously you've got great shooting, you've got a lot of experience, you've got a lot of guys who individually have achieved a lot in this league, and you have 48 minutes of exceptional speed at the point guard, and 2 guys that I would say are elite in their half court and transition speed. So if you get switched on either of those guys, they just back you out, and really nobody in the league can keep those guys in front of them when they get ahead of steam. And so it makes it really difficult. You've got to do a great job of maintaining your matchup. You've got to do a great job of helping appropriately when it's not maintained, and make it as tough as possible. Obviously, he hit 4 threes last game and has improved his shooting, and that just makes it tougher to defend the drive. Those guys are good players. Well, obviously, one of the things, Sherrod, is you're going to have to find out, and we have 4 games of information against these guys, but you're going to have to find out who is the best fit for this series and who are the best guys to play in this series at what time, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think that that's something that, will determine how many and who we play. But I think that, I certainly have no inhibition to throw any of our guys in the game, because I trust they'll all do their jobs when they get in there. Yeah, I don't think we're, a ton different than everybody else in that regard. I think everybody talks about those things, and everybody that's in the playoffs has probably experienced those things. So, yeah, that's helpful, but it's hard to be the person that doesn't play as much. It's the reality of this business. It's the reality of this, and but at the same time, if you don't play tonight, the time may come the next night. If you don't play many minutes tonight, it may come the next night. You just got to always be ready, and that's what professionals do.
Brad, they got a lot of length all over Isaiah in the second half of that game here last week. There was big guys on him whenever he got down the lane and things. How do you deal with that?
Isaiah hasn't won many battles with regard to length all year, so that's part of being small. And he's figured out how to deal with it his whole life and his whole career. He's continued to get better at reading each kind of defense that people throw at him. And so, you try to learn from what other teams try to do and try to go with that. But no matter who they put on him, they're going to be longer than he is. And but again, he'll have to handle that appropriately and just make the right basketball play. But he's really locked in. He's always been locked in, but you can tell that he's ready to roll. And but yeah, he's a smaller guy who's had to figure out how to be successful with that size disadvantage.
Coach, 2 years in a row where your playoff opponent was one that you played within a week or so of starting game 1. How helpful has that been for you in terms of preparation that the last game is kind of fresh in your guys' mind?
Well, I think there is some thought to that. It's no more helpful to us than them. Both teams last week were forced to change in the middle of the game, made changes in the middle of the game. So, we'll see what takes shape with regard to what they decide to do, and we'll see what takes shape with regard to what we decide to do. But I think the biggest thing is that, every game's going to start 0-0, and it has to begin with playing with the right presence and the right competitive spirit, the right togetherness, and all those other things.
What were the greatest differences you saw from them last Saturday as compared to when you played them earlier on in the season?
No, they've really, the talking points are real. They've gotten better all year. This is a really good team. I think they're playing at as good of a level as anybody in the East. And I just think they're experienced and they know how to play. And, let alone the talent. They've got good players and good coaching.